Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to a new Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls video. Today I'm going to be discussing the level 70 Witch Doctor build that I've personally been using quite a little bit in Diablo 3. If you're not looking for a Witch Doctor class but for example a wizard one, make sure to click the link right below that like button in the description below. Now before I actually leveled up my Witch Doctor to level 70, I wasn't completely sure about the class because it plays a whole lot differently, at least in the original game it did. It plays a whole lot differently than the other classes. The abilities are, compared to the other classes, really weird, and I was a little bit hesitant at first. However, this class really quickly grew to my favorite class, and in this video I'm going to show you why. I've been enjoying this build a ton. I've had a lot of success just easily farming Torment 1 to 3. 3 is obviously going to take a whole lot longer compared to 1, but in general 1, 2 and 3 are going really easily, and I've just been having a ton of fun using this build. Now when I was doing my own little research for the Witch Doctor build that I will show you in this video, it turned out really quickly that there are indeed a whole lot of different builds going around. Now the Witch Doctor build that I'm going to be discussing in this video is going to be a cooldown based one. So it is going to be really important that you do take your time killing pretty much everything on the map. That said, let's jump straight into the game. So here we are in the actual game. Now let's first have a look really quickly at the gear that I'm currently running. As you can see, my gear is not perfect, but it's getting pretty close to something that is pretty damn good. Now there are a couple of things that I would like to change. As you can see on these braces right here, I've been trying to reroll the life per hit to actually do bonus fire damage, but I've actually run out of legendaries and crafting materials to keep on trying. But in general, my gear is pretty good. I'm currently at 1 million DPS, 4.5 million toughness, 8,000 healing, and about 450,000 life. Next up, the actual skills that I'm running with this build. It is going to be Plague of Toads with Explosive Toads, Summon Zombie Dogs with Burning Dogs, a Spirit Walk with Yaunt, Fetish Army with Tiki Tortures, Gargantuan with Wrathful Protector, Big Bad Voodoo with Slam Dance, and then for the passive it's Grave Injustice, Pierce the Veil, Tribal Rites, and Midnight Feast. The reason why I would advise you to get fire damage bonus on your gear is simply because the highest damage dealing abilities in this build are benefiting from it. Such as the Plague of Toads with the Explosive Toads, that is a fire skill indeed. Then we also have the Burning Dogs, which obviously also benefit from fire damage. Then there is Fetish Army with Tiki Tortures that also actually benefit from fire damage, and then the Gargantuan with Wrathful Protector that also benefits from fire damage. First off, Plague of Toads with Explosive Toads. This is an incredibly strong ability. Now, if you've never seen it before, let me show you it really quickly. Basically what happens is you will spread out toads all over the place with your Witch Doctor, and at first this is a little bit awkward because you're not targeting something directly. The toads just sort of hop to their own places. But it is an incredibly strong ability, and I would definitely advise you to give it a try. Now if you don't like these sort of abilities, what you could also maybe try and mess around with is Poison Dart. And you'll have to figure out exactly what kind of a rune you would prefer. Flaming Dart, probably going to be your best option considering it also does fire damage. Next up we have the Zombie Dogs. Now the Zombie Dogs are something that you can change around, but I personally really like seeing them in this build. I personally am running them with Burning Dogs, but something you might want to check out as well if you notice you're dying a lot is Leeching Beasts, which indeed does not benefit from fire damage, but it will allow you to heal a whole lot more. Something you also might want to check out if you don't enjoy running the Zombie Dogs is something like, let's have a look, Acid Cloud. Acid Cloud is incredibly strong. I would probably go for Acid Rain, but once more, this is only really relevant if you do not do bonus damage with your fire abilities from the gear that you got. Another really strong ability is Piranhas with Piranado. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is an incredibly strong ability as well, but I've personally really come to trust my Zombie Dogs, and I prefer running Zombie Dogs with Burning Dogs. Next up, an ability that I would not change if I were you. It is going to be Spirit Walk with Yaunt. Now this is an incredibly good ability to simply move around a lot faster, but also to allow you to actually get out of trouble if it turns out to be necessary. Now considering this build does not really use a mana resource, I would go with Yaunt. However, if you maybe change something around such as Acid Cloud, you might want to go with Honored Guest instead, which allows you to regenerate 20% of your maximum mana while you activate this. But Spirit Walk, a very good ability to move around and also to get out of trouble if necessary. Now the last three abilities, Fetish Army, Gargantuan and Big Bad Voodoo, are all cooldown abilities, which means you can only use them every now and then. Fetish Army with Tiki Torches has a 120 second cooldown, Big Bad Voodoo with Slam Dance has also 120 seconds, and Gargantuan with Wrathful Protector has a 60 second cooldown. These abilities are amazing, but this is where the passives come in. Now, Witch Doctor passives are probably my favorite passives in the entire game. These abilities are absolutely amazing. So first off, we got Grave Injustice, which doesn't just allow you to regenerate some life and mana, but most and foremost, it will lower the cooldown of all of your abilities as soon as you see something blow up within 20 yards. And this is absolutely crucial, considering we are running these big cooldowns. Another really important one is Pierce the Veil. All of your damage is increased by 20%, but all of your mana costs are increased by 30% as well. Now this is a good one, simply because all of the abilities that we are using don't really cost us any mana. That means that this passive is pretty much a straight up 20% damage increase. Next up we got Tribal Rights, which is once again an ability that allows you to reduce the cooldown of pretty much everything you are running by 25%. So there's really no reason not to use this. And last but not least, the one that you might want to mess around with a little bit, it is Midnight Feast. That means you have one additional zombie dog, but most and foremost, the zombie dogs and the Gargantuan do 50% increased damage. Now, how does the synergy in this build exactly work? Now, as you might have noticed, the cooldowns of all of these abilities are very low. Let's have a look at the Gargantuan, for example. The Gargantuan has a 25% reduced cooldown because of the Tribal Rights ability, which means that there is only a 45-second cooldown on this ability itself. Besides Tribal Rights, we are also running Grave Injustice, which allows you to reduce all the cooldowns once more as soon as stuff dies within 20 yards. Which basically means that the Gargantuan allows to be up most of the time. First, Tribal Rights takes off 15 seconds, after that the Gargantuan is obviously active for 15 seconds, and after that most of the time you will be able to kill at least 10 to 30 minions in the 15 seconds that the Gargantuan is active, which allows it to pretty much be up constantly. The same goes for the Fetish Army and the Big Bad Voodoo. It will be around a lot more often than you might think initially when you see the 120 second cooldown. How do you want to play this? Well, you basically just want to use all your cooldowns as soon as you see an elite pack, and in between you want to kill stuff with your Gargantuan and your Plague of Toads as well as your zombie dogs. Make sure your zombie dogs are active at all times, make sure you keep spamming the explosive toads that you have running around, and make sure the Gargantuan is, used as soon as you need it. When you see an elite pack or some sort of boss, simply pop the cooldown of the Big Bad Voodoo as well as the Fetish Army and you will be able to nuke it down. Besides that, the Spirit Walk is pretty much always off cooldown. It only has a 15-second cooldown by itself, and most of the time 15 minions will die very soon, which allows it to come off of cooldown again with the Grave Injustice ability. So yeah, that is pretty much it. A really fun build for the Witch Doctor in Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. I would definitely advise you give it a try if you haven't already. It is a ton of fun to mess around with. Now, if you have any comments or suggestions for me, make sure to hit the comment section right below that like button. I would love to read what you think of these kind of videos, and hopefully I will be able to improve them in the future. And other than that, I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, and I'll see you in the next video. Today I'm gonna go over a very strong build that is incredibly good right now for the Demon Hunter. This build is good for pretty much every single. And other than that, I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! What the fuck was that?